It's so snowy outside, but my apartment's so warm.
I admire your etching.
I admire your form.
Oh, you're just so insistent.
I've been waiting so long.
And I've been getting ideas from JoeTownsend.com.
Horror for the holidays, how about that? You're like the canary and I am the cat. We've got a roaring fire and a bearskin rug, and I'm expecting so much more than a kiss and a hug.
The girls at the office all talk about you. You gotta be stopped, and that's just what I'll do.
I feel sick and dizzy.
And why is that, you think?
When I wasn't looking, you switched our drinks.
Horror for the holidays, JoeTownsend.com.
I can't feel my legs and I can't move my arms. Please don't let me die, I'll mend my ways.
Enjoy your last horror for the holidays.
JoeTownsend.com.
Well, all right. That's the last time we'll be doing that one, but holidays are pretty much done. But as you know, here at Retro Trekkers, it is always a Star Trek holiday. And it's so great to have the ensigns with us. There's Ensign Rosario. Chris, let me know if I pronounced this right. And Ensign Rulebach. Rulebach. That's Weber trying to pronounce Rulebach. And of course, folks, nothing happens here at SB80 if I don't have by my side, making sure everything works, the best damn XO in the whole damn fleet. It is Commander Joe. Commander Joe Townsend. Welcome aboard.
You mean me? Oh, thank you, John. I was looking around for that best damn XO in the fleet, and I got to tell you, we do have to put on ice the horror for the holidays spots until next holiday season, but how very appropriate you ran this one tonight, one last time, of the woman getting her revenge on her would-be suitor from the office as we conclude our look tonight at the beautiful woman of Star Trek.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought of that. I'm just so proud of that one. Joe, of course, did the artwork for it, and I told the robot to make the music, and we wrote it together. And it's just a great spot. I love that spot. Back to the pronunciation of Chris Rulebach. He says it's excellent, and Raphael says it sounds Klingon.
Oh, yes, very, very much, and very delightfully so. And John, I got to hand it to you. I would not have nailed that pronunciation of Ensign Rulebach's name, but unfortunately, you stumbled a bit on the pronunciation of the word pronunciation. So,
woo, that damn Romulan ale.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe we can recover it. I mean, do we have our show intro handy? We got to kick it off with that, I think.
You're right. You're right. Where'd I put it? There you go. There you go.
There we go.
Get down with the retro trackers.
It's time for Retro Trekkers.
We love our Star Trek.
Of course, Retro Trekkers, the show that Joe and I do every week, where we recap and review favorite episodes of Star Trek, and it is almost impossible to narrow it down to just a handful of favorites, but that's what we do. Every week we bring you another one, and with the ensigns alongside with us, it is going to be an excellent day here on SB80. Let's talk about today's episode. Did I still, I've been trying to remember to do this, but no, that's for next week. Been trying to remember to put up the visuals that we get so that people can just, this is a very visual episode. This one, of course, being bound from the fourth season. Is that correct, Mr. Townsend? The fourth season of Enterprise?
That is correct. It is toward the end of the fourth season, ergo toward the end of the series. And I'm going to share a tidbit now,
Ooh,
since we're on the topic.
please do.
But the episode Bound did originally have a different title, and that was Bound. Oh, bad Townsend.
I believe the first ship you're assigned to is the USS Bow Chicka Bow Bow.
You're absolutely right.
Chris asks a question. Wasn't Yvonne Craig at one point a green girl in Orion? Was she?
Absolutely, in the third season of the original series. Now, of course, going to have a typical brain fart and recalling the name of the episode, but she was in the episode in season 3 where Kirk and Spock were taken prisoner on the little loony bin planet.
That's right.
With the captain who went nuts and took over, and she was one of the inmates, yes.
Oh, boy, what a cutie, Yvonne Craig. Yvonne Craig, of course, Batgirl from the Batman 1966 series. And then Chris, don't be dirty.
Ooh.
That was a tidbit with a D in it. Oh, see? Now I'm being dirty, too.
Yes. D is in dick. Oh, wait a minute. Did I say that out loud?
It's impossible to be clean with all of these pheromones running around through the air, but I guess maybe I'm giving things away. Let's see if there's any more things I can tell you. Alan Croker was the director on this one. It was written by Always Solid Manny Koto.
Well, who basically was the showrunner for this fourth and final season, and I would have done great things going forward had the show continued.
Yes. Oh boy. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we've talked about this a bit on the show before, but Enterprise is never really near the top for me.
Yeah.
I love TNG, I love TOS, but my absolute favorite is DS9. I have a healthy respect for Enterprise, and then there are my very complicated feelings about Voyager, but we can always get to that later. Not really.
Well, I'm sure I'll have a Voyager episode coming up real soon, so we're all about it then.
Now, I hope I managed to remember to put up the beats. Did I?
Oh, I hope so.
I don't think I did. I think I have the intro to the beats, but I didn't actually put up the beats. Oh, please distract the audience while I load that file up, sir.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I will. Let me pick up on a couple of points that we kind of glossed over here because I just can't stand not knowing the answer to this question. But bear with me, guys. I'm going to find the title of that wonderful episode with Yvonne Craig.
Oh, wait, Rosario found it.
Okay, and what did he find?
Ensign Rosario found it, and there it is.
Well, kudos to our audience and Raphael for because her name was Marta, and kind of like what we're going to discover with this episode in the original series, Whom Gods Destroy and The Cage were the only two appearances of Orions generally, let alone Orion slave girls, quote unquote, and similarly, in this fourth season of Enterprise, 2 appearances.
Oh, wow.
Of the Orions. This was the second of the 2. I know John has a little bit of something to contribute as far as the initial appearance.
Yes.
But they did appear earlier in season 4 of Enterprise, and in pretty much the same unfavorable light. The male Orions were kind of held back until this series. We never saw them in the original series or subsequently until now.
Yeah.
And they were a force to be reckoned with, at least. And when it comes to doing promo graphics and art for shows like this, I'm just so gratified that Captain John Weber makes such a fantastic Orion man, because it just makes my job so much easier.
All right. I am ready to load up our first segment here, but
John loads himself, loading up the segment, but John himself has been unloaded, but that's okay. I'll just keep gabbing. And I don't, actually what I can do is I can go over here and look at comments over on this side. I don't have there's John. John, I think those pheromones are just making this wacky.
Huge mistake. StreamYard crashed for me. So now Let me get this done. And okay, let's go to the beats for this one.
Okay.
Here we go.
Retro Trekkers. Trials and Titillation, Part 3 of 3. This week from Star Trek Enterprise, Bound. The Enterprise is scouting out possible locales for Starfleet's first starbase.
It does look good.
But here come those annoying brutes from the Orion Syndicate, commanded by Captain Horrid Sar. He demands that Archer power down his weapons, or he will attack. A brief pissing contest ensues. Then, both ship captains back down. Horrid Sar is now a jovial party guy and insists that Archer come on over for dinner and some entertainment. Time to make nice and improve relations between the greenskins and the pinkskins. Meanwhile, down in engineering, petulant Kelby resents Trip being on the Enterprise. Trip tells Kelby that he has every intention of returning to the USS Columbia and that the easily threatened lieutenant should just chill out.
Yeah, man.
T'Pol asks Trip if he's been having unusual daydreams about her. Trip smugly tells the pouty Vulcan to get over herself. Over on the Orion ship, Archer and Horrid Sar pick at their food and sip their alcohol, without a lot of enthusiasm. So, Horrid Sar offers to arouse their appetites. He claps his hands. In response, a comely trio of Orion babes comes out to dance.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, after the seductive dance, it's down to business. The Orion offers Archer the coordinates of a planet with lots of magnesite and gives the slave girls, Navarre, Dinesh, and Maris, to the crew. Let's get these alluring women back to the Enterprise to get them settled so they can start making trouble as soon as possible. Malcolm shows the three to their quarters. He's the first to get a little hot and bothered, but he won't be the last. While they travel to the planet with the magnesite, the men on Enterprise become very distracted by the Orion women, and they start behaving like a bunch of frat boy horn dogs, while the women get headaches and become lethargic. In addition, Phlox begins stumbling around and fainting dead away, since his hibernation cycle has been disrupted. Malcolm and Travis try to curb their libidos by pumping iron, but no such luck. They decide to take advantage of a cold sonic shower, although not together. Navarre comes on to Archer, who is definitely not immune to her considerable charms. Likewise, Dinesh comes on even stronger to Kelby, whose resentment of Trip is now off the scale. Dinesh encourages Kelby to let loose his alpha male. Meanwhile, in the penthouse upstairs, Violet and Corky are laundering a lot of ill-gotten cash while continuing their own love affair. Oh, whoops, wrong story called Bound. But rest assured, everybody, the inclusion here in this slideshow is no accident. Enterprise reaches the planet and begins scanning for the promised precious metals. A small alien science vessel fires on Enterprise, but is no threat. Regardless, Archer gives Malcolm the order to destroy it anyway. Well, Malcolm refuses. Archer tries to do it himself, but fortunately the little ship leaves. Meanwhile, during a little pillow talk, Dinesh tells Kelby he's more man than Trip and tells him to put on his big boy panties and man up. Kelby goes to engineering and sabotages the EPS system. Trip freaks out and beats him down. Horrid Sar returns before the repairs on Enterprise can be completed. He's now ready to claim his reward, namely the Enterprise itself. And here it is finally revealed that it is the Orion men, not the women, that are the slaves in their society. Oh, that darn matriarchy. But it is very kinky. The two ships go into combat. Enterprise's weapons go offline. In a final indignity, the Orion ship harpoons the Enterprise and hauls it out of orbit, like a tetherball. T'Pol and Trip think of a plan, but the clock is ticking. The Orion women seduce their guard, escape, and go to the bridge. Navarre persuades Archer to have T'Pol arrested. The captain has such a chubby at this point, he's hardly in position to resist. He orders Malcolm to arrest T'Pol. Well, Malcolm tries, because he's been under the Orion women's spell from the beginning. But he is stunned by Trip, who also stuns Archer and Travis. Then the Orion women are sent away, pouting that their feminine wiles let them down this time. Phlox gives everyone injections and reveals that they will recover in a few days. T'Pol says she wants Trip to stay
and he forces her to admit it's for personal reasons. Lest he doubt this, T'Pol lays a big wet one on Trip, but he gets the last laugh when he reveals that he put in for transfer back to Enterprise several days prior.
Happy trombone.
Yeah. Oh, and everybody,
I'm sorry, Mr. Townsend. What was that, sir?
no, I just have to take a moment to compliment Captain Weber in that I provide him with the raw material, but he always gives it the finishing touches that make it so entertaining, especially the music.
Just another day on SB80. That's all it is. Let's get to the down and the dirty of it. Let's talk about this episode now. I don't know if I should lead with this. I don't usually do this. Usually, when I sit down with the family, we all watch things that we watch together. Everybody in the family likes Star Trek, but they don't really adhere that much to it. They don't like, oh, I wonder what's going on Strange New Worlds. It never really comes up. So I'm usually watching this stuff by myself. But last night during dinner, I said, well, what the hell? I know none of my family have seen this episode. So let's just do this as family movie night. Now there's my wife.
Interesting.
There's my wife and her two sisters. And oh boy, they did not like this episode.
I am shocked. Really?
They're like, oh, right. Because women have these special powers that make men act like idiots. Like men don't act like idiots on their own. And they're not like anti-man, but oh my God, they were so like insulted by this episode. And it's so it's from the early aughts, right? It's 2000.
It would be 05 because that's when Enterprise left the air, and that was pretty much at the end of the run.
2005, 20 years ago. Literally 20 years ago. So when I'm talking about men acting like idiots, Chris is like, who's acting? Raphael says, who would win in a cat fight, Orion women or Deltan females? That's actually an excellent question. Mr. Townsend, what do you think? Because Orion women and Deltan females, although I think it's all Deltans, to tell you the truth, they are super sexy. And
yeah, well, I mean, Ilea had to, of course, take her her oath of celibacy, which, given the original edits of motion picture, made no sense at the time. But we know this now about them. And as a matter of fact, I mean, Deltans were mentioned during the course of this episode as a basis for comparison. Yeah. So to answer the question in a cat fight, I would have to say that the Orion women would probably come out on top, only because they are more instinctively inclined, to have that type of rumble.
They, you and I have talked about this off camera. Have we talked about it on camera yet? How well Deltans, especially Deltan women, have been addressed in the cartoon Lower Decks?
We have not talked about it.
What is hey, Bob West is with us. Hey, Bob. Welcome to the show. Yeah, because oh God, what is her name? Tila? Oh my God, what's her name? The cartoon Deltan girl.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. But let's go with that.
We don't watch it enough, do we? I watch it very casually. But yeah, they've gone a lot further with what her birthright is as an Orion female, and they are like the dominatrix. Well, I mean, we've already talked about the plot, so we reveal that they actually pull the strings. They're the puppet masters because they have this, wicked dominatrix like power over all the men, and the men love it.
Oh well, what can I say? I mean, and it as it turned out, it wasn't a contradictory retcon type of deal either, as revealed in this episode. I mean, if you go all the way back to the Cage, Susan Oliver playing Vina, the Orion version, it fits. She had all those men under her power, including Pike.
Raphael, thank you. It's Tendi. I was trying to think of the name Tendi. As we get through this episode, one of the things that Joe and I have been talking about the whole time is we don't have to really go deeply into the plot here because there's not a lot of plot.
That would be like going deeply into a shallow puddle on the sidewalk.
But what is interesting is how this one looks. I was very interested in how handheld a lot of these cameras were, how close a lot of the shots were, almost giving you that feeling of what it was like to, smell the pheromones and to be intoxicated by the 3 Orion women. I'm very uncomfortable using the phrase slave girl.
Okay, we'll leave that in the past then, but especially since as it turns out, they're not.
Right, they're not slaves. They were undercover as kind of sort of slaves. This was the last Star Trek episode for which Marvin V. Rush provided the cinematography. And he was going to direct. What he did was he directed In a Mirror Darkly 2, and then he directed Terra Prime. So he was a big one in terms of how the show looked as it was winding up the entire series in season 4. But yeah, that's something I can point to in this episode. The look of it and the feeling of it, the closeness of it and the intimacy of it is really cool. And I gotta say, I really like these Orions. We've got William Lucking, and he was playing, what's his name again? Playing Harad Sar.
Yeah, thank you. I just did the beats, couldn't remember it.
William Lucking has been like the big guy in everything. He look him up on Wikipedia. That resume is a mile long. I really liked him in this, but maybe I'm jumping ahead of myself. Maybe I'm starting to get into MVP territory. Is there anything else that guys filmed in Jiggle Vision counteracts the net? Oh God.
All those years we had Sense Around and other special effects of that nature. How can we never had Jiggle Vision? That was a huge oversight. Maybe, John, maybe we have our next calling there, huh?
Oh boy. Anyway, let's go to our next segment where we talk about our favorite people in this episode. We had really 3 stories here. We had the Orion story. We also had the T'Pol and Trip story. And if you want to give it anything, there was the Kelby and Trip story there too, where Kelby's very insecure that Trip is still on the ship.
Well, that's more of a wrap up, really, because this was something that went on for a few episodes. Basically, where just to elaborate for those that aren't in the know, that for personal reasons, mainly T'Pol related, Trip felt the need to transfer over to the NX-02, the Columbia, to be their engineer, and they brought in Kelby, who just never really made his mark and was very threatened and just feeling disrespected by the time we got to this episode.
He's kind of the Dr. Pulaski of of Enterprise. No one really wanted him there. Poor Kelby. And then he'd have to go back to his regular job of doing stunts for Channing Tatum.
Yes.
He just looked like the inexpensive TV version of Channing Tatum. But I have to say, William Lucking was great on there. But the main Orion woman, oh my gosh, what's her name?
I have it handy. Played by I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Sia Baton, who played Navarre, she's the leader of the trio.
I had to look her up. I had to know more about her. Again, a good actor with a very long resume, lots
Yeah.
and lots of roles, TV and movies, but her main role, her main credit, she was in the Pussycat Dolls,
Oh, well, there you go.
which might account for how great that dance number was at the original banquet, where the three women dance, the three green gals dance, and then they are awarded as a door prize to the Enterprise.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
I have to say that as lighthearted and largely insignificant as this episode might be viewed, that opening dance was really well choreographed and very interesting. I mean, when you first see Navarre, and then suddenly the other two appear behind her in that
right.
really cool synchronicity, and then just very,
Yeah.
very, very good number. I like that.
It is worth watching. And actually, I liked this episode. I would say this whole episode was worth watching. Just unfortunately, it doesn't move the game pieces on the board very much.
Listen, not every episode, especially a standalone, which was not the norm in this fourth season. A
True.
single standalone episode. They kind of worked as bridges between the 2 and 3 part story arcs that were known in season 4. Yeah, it's entertaining, obviously. I mean, we watched it and loved it. Not a game changer, but that's okay. The game changer, of course, being the nature of the women themselves and how they actually are part of a matriarchal society. That's a cool little twist. I liked it.
That's nice to know, because we've seen these green rascals, these ne'er-do-wells quite a bit. So to, kind of put the finishing touches on them, I like that too. I enjoyed that very much. Literally, to answer your question, Raphael, this was not literally a sweeps episode because it was done in April and not May.
And we are at the tail end of the series at this point.
But that's the thing, exactly. I wouldn't say this was so much to spike the ratings for a sweeps period. I think this is to spike the ratings for a renewal.
Right.
And it didn't work, sadly.
Right, because the episodes that would follow this one immediately were the 2-part In the Mirror Darkly that we both love so much.
Yes.
And it was during the filming of that 2-parter that they found that they had been canceled.
Bob says the USS Door Prize, A, B, C, or D. Or E, or F. It's just like the Enterprises. They go up many sizes. Cup sizes, says Raphael. Oh, Raphael. Look at us. Like,
what can of worms have we opened, John?
Bob says, I hate to pun and run, but it must be off. Thank you for tweaking my geeking, Bob.
Oh, Bob, thanks for stopping by.
Drop by anytime, Bob. I will talk to you later. We have got pretty much the MVPs thing down. Oh my gosh. We're not already at tidbits, are we?
I think we're kind of at a segue for tidbits at this point. And we rounded up a couple for you.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm loading these live, so the timing is not great. Those rascals, the ensigns. Yes, you guys are rascals. Absolutely. Mr. Townsend, what kind of tidbits have we to present to the ensigns for this particular episode, Bound?
Well, with the help of IMDb, I got a couple that I can share that I find of interest. Again, referring to the lovely actress Sia Baton, who I agree was the MVP because she drove the whole plot and, of course, was stunning in her portrayal. Who played Navarre, the lead Orion woman. In other Trek casting, she also played Tora Ziyal, Gul Dukat's daughter in Deep Space Nine.
Get out of here, really?
Yes, she did.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
And you mentioned William Lucking,
yes,
who played Harad Sar, and he played Fiorel in Shakar.
I mean, he is perfect for Star Trek. He's an old school actor. He's got that great voice. He's got a great physical presence. And he, one of the things that I always admire so much out of the actors in Star Trek is the ones who have to wear so much makeup.
Sure.
and so many, applications on their face and stuff. And that makes it harder to act. So when they do a great job, I always say, give them all the prizes in the world. They have done an excellent job here.
Well, I'm not an actor. I aspire to get into it to some extent whenever the opportunity arises, but I know enough as a layman to know that acting through prosthetics cannot be easy. It's definitely more difficult when you don't have them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to bring up this is a tidbit from a very cute part at the very beginning of the episode, where they're talking about this planet that they're scouting out for the first Federation starbase. It goes, a Vulcan science vessel surveyed the planet over 50 years ago. The file states that it's an M-class world with a flourishing ecosystem, no intelligent life. Sounds promising.
Okay.
They did report one distinctive feature that bears mentioning, and that is a species of flying reptile, some reportedly over 200 meters long. They're also said to breathe fire.
Oh.
The bridge crew gives T'Pol a strange look. And then T'Pol says, there's been lingering questions over the accuracy of this report.
You mean there might not actually be fire-breathing dragons?
Now, what is hilarious about that is a callback of a line from TOS. T'Pol mentions the Vulcan survey team making a note of the species of flying reptiles on Berengaria 7. Now, I'm stealing all of this from Memory Alpha. I don't think I'm claiming that I came up with this. Apparently, there were dragons. And in this TOS episode, This Side of Paradise, Spock mentions seeing a dragon while visiting Berengaria 7.
Oh.
I think they're saying that Spock was on that team. He was on that initial scouting team.
Well, I don't know, because this is a prequel to TOS.
Oh my God, it is. Well, yes, but Spock could be doing this. Well, Spock's an old guy.
I don't know if he's that old. This is like 100 years before TOS.
Okay, well then,
but it could be related in the sense that they followed up with it, and he was on that subsequent team.
That makes sense to me as well. I just love it. I don't want to let go. I love it.
The important thing, John, is that this is a great tidbit. I'm going to go ahead and give it the award for the top tidbit of the week. And all I can say is, Captain, there will be dragons here. In my horrible Scottish accent.
What else do I have? Sorry, I'm just stumbling all about the place. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Hang on. Chris says, yeah, maybe Spock was on a follow-up team. Yeah, Joe's theory, I think, holds some water here.
I think that works for sure.
Here's all I know. I want there to be dragons. I'm done.
Well, you know what? It's still there. They can still follow up yet again and figure it out for sure. That would be an awesome episode.
There's also a moment where the main Orion dude, the guy with the Harad Sar, mentions the fantastic brewing abilities of the Gorn.
Mm-hmm.
And this would chronologically be the first episode of Star Trek that ever mentions either the Gorn or the Gorn hegemony. Not a word I use a lot. And of course, these are the Gorns, man. I'm picturing like the TOS Gorns, not the Strange New Worlds ripoff.
Yeah,
the movie Alien Gorn. But the
it would be the Gorn in the two-parter that immediately follows this, but of course that's in the Mirror Universe.
That's right. Oh, I forgot all about that. And
in an early CGI effort, which we can still respect it. Exactly. But yeah, you're right, John. We wouldn't see in the Prime Universe. We would not see the Gorn at all until Kirk took him on in Arena.
And then Strange New Worlds is rewriting the Gorn story, which I hate. I hate that they're doing that. They could use any other race. They could make up a race. Oh, and there was one more thing that I found over at Memory Alpha. When they approached the planet that they're hoping to mine, so the planet that the Orion guy has mentioned to them, they run into a ship. And on Memory Alpha, they think they can actually identify that ship. Have you thought about that at all, Joe? What that ship might have been, or whose it might have been?
I have to admit that I just thought it was just a random occurrence, just to put in the plot device of Archer wanting to blow them away, even though they're defenseless. So beyond that, I didn't have any significance for it. No.
They say here the mysterious ship that attacks the Enterprise, and it doesn't have the firepower to even hurt the Enterprise.
Right.
It used a studio model, which was a reuse of a Nausicaan ship.
Oh.
From the very first season episode, Fortunate Son. So,
okay. Yeah, could be. I mean, they're kind of, if they're Nausicaans, they're kind of weenies and running away, but it's possible.
That is not very Nausicaan, is it?
No.
Raphael says, "Are there dragons in the Westeros system?" Boy, that's a lot of references right there. That's well done. Well done, Raphael. Chris Rubach says, "By using the Gorns, they make watchers want to tune in from the familiarity." I mean, I've always liked that. I've heard it called fan service, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a fan. Give me your service. It works for me.
I think the term fan service takes on a whole new meaning when we're talking about Orion women, but maybe it's just my mind working.
So all in all, yeah, good episode. I'm glad that you programmed it, Joe. Trials and Titillations has been a great series. And Joe did a brilliant job putting these together. These were great episodes.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, it was a fun 3-parter, and sometimes the whole thing just gets built on the title alone, and who could resist Trials and Titillation after all? And we just scratched the surface of all the beautiful women and men for the ladies and those who admire them. They ran throughout the entire franchise, and what can I say? I mean, we enjoy it, we love it. They know it, they give it to us. They give us fan service.
It is. Look, sexiness is a big part of Star Trek. That is just how it goes, and it's not simply for the boys. Everybody can appreciate some good-looking people on Star Trek.
And, a couple things that didn't appeal to me about this one, and I guess it's just personal preference. But number one, I don't know about making poor T'Pol such a schlub. I mean, she's being honest with Trip, and he's just kind of jerking her chain, and the whole plot device, like as I alluded to in the beats.
Yeah.
Okay, so typically you expect he'd be among the first beat to succumb to the feminine wiles of the Orion women. And of course, he's immune because of the psychic bond, which that's pretty significant.
It is. That's actually a big deal. Actually, I'm kind of kicking myself for not pointing that out, which is, the fact that once you mate with a Vulcan woman, you're bonded psychically. That is new.
You're bound.
You are bound. Holy cow!
Double meaning.
They're working on amazing levels over here. But I do appreciate that. And then it reminds me so much of the connection of Deanna Troi and Commander Riker.
Yes.
They have a little bit of a psychic connection, and their relationship, of course, is based on the Deltan Ilya and what's his name from Tales of the Gold Monkey?
That would be Commander Decker.
Commander Decker. Oh my gosh, Decker.
Son of the other Captain Decker from the Doomsday Machine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's right.
Well, this is not canonical, but it's pretty much accepted as being the lineage.
So this is it. Chris says Troy looks exactly like my ex-wife Nina. I'm both happy and sad for you.
Yes, that's. I have to react the same way. Because let us not forget the the beautiful and talented women that appear every week on Star Trek, not just the comely guest stars. I mean, of course, Troy's right there.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
right. I was auditioning for a show. It was a series when they were putting together this series.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an actress, she and I were waiting to go in and audition, and she was preparing to audition for Hoshi.
Oh,
She didn't get it. And neither did I.
you didn't get Hoshi, John?
Actually, I do have to get out there and talk to some of my actor friends about their experiences of auditioning for Star Trek, because it is like New York. In New York, when you're an actor, they always said it's like jury duty. Eventually, you're going to get called to audition for Law and Order.
Oh, well, makes sense.
That never happened to me. Never happened to Leslie, my wife, who's also an actor. Never happened to us. But oh my God, we had friends on there who were on there multiple times. So out here, it was a Star Trek series.
Wow.
Now, I did audition for a couple of Star Trek series.
Well, I mean, can you share with us what those roles were? Or would have been?
Both times it was for a Bolian.
Oh, bald-headed blue dudes that cut hair.
Blue dudes with the scene. As a matter of fact, I worked on a show with the guy who was Mr. Mott. He was the very first Bolian.
Yes, of course. He was the barber. Yeah.
And he was great because I was like, oh, I keep getting called in for Bolians. And he goes, because you got a big fat face.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I should know. I was the first Bolian with my big fat face. And so he actually taught me how to be a Bolian, which was, you always talk like this. You never let a word go extended. Bolians say their words very simply, like they're playing keys on a keyboard.
Kind of staccato?
Staccato. Exactly. Thank you. Staccato. And you can't turn your head a lot because you'll ruin your seam. So you have to turn with your shoulders. Yeah, you can't turn with your head. But that was, that's all I got there.
Well, I mean, it would have been great, but you never know what the future may bring. I mean, Star Trek is still thriving and living, so who knows?
Who knows? There may still be a chance for me to be a big old Orion. Anybody watching this, I hope you are ready for the big move. We are moving from Saturdays. We're moving to Tuesdays. We're also going to change up our time too. So new time and new day for Retro Trekkers. We're really looking forward to it. And that'll be 7 p.m. on the Pacific time zone and 10 p.m. on the East Coast Tuesdays. Please join us when we're doing that.
So no Trekkers a week from today, but then resuming the following Tuesday.
Correct. And it's going to be a monster of a show.
I can't wait.
The main attraction is our good friend Eric Kramer, who loves Star Trek. Absolutely loves it. Cannot wait to be on the show with us. And the show we're going to do, that is some good Mr. Spocking you did for Eric. Holy cow.
Oh, well, thank you. I think he looks fabulous as Mirror Spock. Hope he agrees.
Yes. I can't wait to show it to him. Chris says, I usually do live with another podcast Tuesdays at 7. No!
Oh, no. Well, maybe we can alternate or take turns.
We would love that. If we could share you with the other podcast, we would love that, Chris. Yes, I absolutely agree, Raphael. This is a killer episode, Mirror, Mirror, and a killer guest. It is going to be so much fun.
Yes.
So that'll be our new night of broadcasting here from the old Weber internet thingy, me and Commander Townsell. What else can I tell you? Coming up this week, and it's this week, not next week, like the next episode of Trekkers, but no, it's not that. It's this. I will be presenting to you an episode of Box 13 starring Alan Ladd. Old time radio on Mr. Weber's Web O Mystery. This is a really, really fun show. And Alan Ladd is such an interesting guy. I was very surprised when I did all the research on this. What a fascinating guy Alan Ladd was. So we will be paying tribute to him as we watch, as you watch me and I watch you, and we listen to Find Me, Find Death. Oh, here's a plot. This is the plot. So basically, this guy with Box 13 is an ex-newspaper man. He's an ex-reporter, and now he wants to write fiction. So what he does is he sets up a P.O. box at the newspaper where he used to work, and he asks people, just send me a request for help. I'll take on any kind of adventure. I'll take on any kind of, helping you, any kind of advocacy you need. I will help, but I get the story. That's the deal. I get to write about the story. And in this one, Find Me, Find Death, a psychotic murderer says, I'm coming for you in 4 days unless you can stop me.
Oh my goodness. That sounds wonderful.
And what I love about Box 13 is when you hear the setup where the guy says, just ask and I'll come and help. And you go, how many ways could that go wrong? How many ways could people try to kill him or set him up for, frame him for a crime? How many ways could it go badly? That's what a lot of the stories are about. So it's not just some kind of premise that just sort of hangs there and everyone plays by the rules. It's very much a lot of people trying to get this poor guy killed. And it's, Alan Ladd is up to the task. It is a good show. We're going to be listening to that this coming Thursday.
I will be there with the proverbial bells on, sir.
If you wear the literal bells, that's fine. I'll just mute you.
Okay.
That's what Robox says. Alan, you used to be a lad. It's psychological when I'm the original psycho. It'll work. That works. That'll be great. All right. Is that we got to talk about tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, baby. So tomorrow, Joe, what is this movie we're going to be watching on Sunday over on our other YouTube channel, Retro Rangers HQ?
Well, what we're going to be looking at tomorrow is the first film adaptation of Richard Matheson's classic novel, I Am Legend. Now, you know it by title from the Will Smith version, which came much later. The novel has been adapted 3 times. This is the first time. As I have a play here with the words, yes, we are talking about the legendary Last Omega Man on Earth, because it was also adapted as the Omega Man with Charlton Heston in the 70s. But again, we're going to be having a watch party with the full version, the full film of The Last Man on Earth starring Vincent Price. And we'll have a little bit of things to say about the other 2 film versions as well.
Yes.
With special guest, El Tiburon.
Yes, El Tiburon will be joining us, as we always love to work with him when we've got, we'd love to work with him no matter what. But this is a horror film, and he is one of the great guys for that.
Now, John, am I correct in thinking that you have not seen this one, The Last Man on Earth?
I have not seen Last Man on Earth.
Oh, I love it when John hasn't seen it yet. We did it earlier this season with Night of the Living Dead, and that was a great time. So yeah. I think you'll get some good reactions from John tomorrow as well. So please be there for The Last Man on Earth.
El Tiburon as well. I'm pretty sure he's not seen this one before. So
I would not be surprised, because I think we've introduced him to a lot of new things as far as horror. So I'm looking forward to watching you both suffer and wince and all that good stuff.
El Tiburon is much younger than Joe and I always love when we can show him things he's never seen before, because to him we seem like wizards.
Although John is the trivia master of us too.
Well, we'll fix that. We'll fix that.
we'll see what the future holds.
We have trivia battles, but sometimes Wi-Fi issues make the buzzers go off earlier than other buzzers. It's not always fair. Here is something brand new from me and Joe. Let me show you this. Oh, Lord.
Joe's a good guy.
Oh, bad baby.
That's 2025 for you.
It is a whole new fear at joetownsend.com.
Whole new fear. So ring in that new fear. And yes, Raphael's absolutely right. Retro Rangers HQ is our other channel and for YouTube, and that's where you will see us. I went all blurry again. What am I doing here, Joe?
I don't know, man, but I could be as smart as to say it's an improvement, but I won't do that. Soft focus, like they used to in Penthouse magazine. One more sexist comment before we round out our trials and titillation.
Are you saying that this is the Bob Guccione version of
I
what
guess
I
that's what I'm
like?
saying. Yes.
All right, friends. I am fighting all kinds of technical problems here, so I think we're all set, right, Joe?
I think we are. We've got promos. I mean, great stuff coming up. Especially looking forward to resuming Retro Trekkers on Tuesday, the 14th, 7 and 10 with Eric Kramer. That's going to be a great one, Mirror Mirror, as well as the things coming up prior. Web of Mystery and tomorrow's Retro Rangers. Please, gang, be there for all of it. As always, you'll have a great time like we do, Jonathan.
That's going to do it for another week. We'll see you a week from this coming Tuesday. If we don't see you tomorrow, and we would love to see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. On the West Coast and 8 p.m. on the East Coast. And that'll be over at, hang on, he did it. Yes, Raphael put it up. Retro Rangers HQ. You can catch us there. You can catch me on Instagram. You can catch us on the Weber Internet Thingy on Facebook. You can visit me on Facebook. Lots of fun, and we hope you will take advantage of us to have, Chris, all we ever want to be is your usual gang of idiots.
And Chris, if you can't catch us live on Tuesdays, please at least look at us after and leave your comments at that time.
Oh, yeah. We'd love to hear from you no matter what time. Okay.
I think we're going to win them back to our side. I'm predicting.
I think so. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you later. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, John.
And here, hey, technically it was a little mess of a show, but thank you for sticking with us. And we'll see you soon.